How's it going, everyone? Akibana Zero here. Just wanted to give you all an update as to what's going on with the whole genLock debacle. One of the big concerns that we've been having these days has been about genLock and how it's going to release. And it's turns out that it's actually going to be a Rooster Teeth first exclusive show. That means that if you're not paying for the Rooster Teeth first sub, you won't get access to the show. I've talked about this extensively in another video. I'm going to leave a link in the description below for you to check that out. But one of the big concerns that I was discussing in the video concerned reactions. Naturally, I have a reaction channel. This concerns me, and it concerns the community of people that follow my reactions. So I've been talking about this and how this is going to work out. We have reached out, myself and other reactors out there have reached out to Rooster Teeth to see what is going to be happening with reactions, so that we have a few answers finally. Well, they're not concrete answers, so to speak, but they are listening apparently, which is a great thing, really amazing. So I have a couple of tweets here to share with you. Let's check them out. So over here we have the J Maza. He's J Maza. He has tweeted to Geeky Fried Rice, and that is community manager Jackie at Rooster Teeth, and he's asked, who can I contact in terms of getting some info of how we should format reactions to genLock, since it's a first member show. I'm pretty sure it's not the same as Ruby, where we include the whole episode and have commentary with it. Any help would be great. Thumbs up. Jackie the Avocado replied, hi, we're working on some guidelines right now, and we'll be letting the community know what they are before this weekend. There you have it. There is one reply from community manager Jackie. Murder of Birds also shared a screenshot from the forums where community manager Chris also mentioned exactly the same thing, that they're working on guidelines and we will have answers before the weekend. Now we're almost at the weekend, so hopefully we will be getting those soon. I'll be able to report back to you guys how all of that is going to work. But right now, the J Maza over here is actually making a pretty good point in assuming that we won't be able to show the whole episode in our reactions. And I want to kind of run you through some of the options that at the very least I have in my mind and I've been reading about right and left, just to give you guys an idea of how all of this could potentially play out. So let's start with the best case scenario, the one that I kind of consider to be the most win-win, but I also find it to be the least likely, and that is that we will be able to do things business as usual, that we will be able to just play the whole episode and no problems at all, just like we used to. Maybe we will be given a grace period, maybe a week per episode, maybe it could be a few months after the show fully completes. Who knows? We have no idea, but this could be an option, and I consider it to be a win-win because, first of all, I've said this a few times, is that Rooster Teeth's culture, at the very least the way I perceive it, has surrounded around reactions. A lot of the stuff that we do on YouTube that people enjoy are reactions, and this is genLock would be missing out if it wasn't part of the whole reaction culture. It wouldn't become maybe as popular. Maybe it could, maybe it won't, but even still, like, without the reactions, it's not going to be as great. Allowing us to do full reactions, full episodes, would be beneficial because that would just show that the company, that Rooster Teeth themselves, they have the community's interests at heart, and they're not just looking to mistrust us or feel like, you know, that, oh, you guys are just gonna look at reactions, you're not gonna watch the show where you're supposed to, because I don't believe that most people would want to watch somebody play a reaction and just tolerate the commentary, right? Just to be able to watch the show for free. I would find it pretty bothersome if somebody were talking on top of a show that I'm enjoying. So I don't know. Maybe you guys are like that. You know, who knows? Just sound off if you're actually like that. This is where the problems begin for Rooster Teeth, and this is where this actual option is quite problematic, is that it's not about whether or not Rooster Teeth is willing to do it. It's whether or not Rooster Teeth is willing to do the side work, the legwork for it after the reactions are out. Because here's the deal. Okay, fine, I release a reaction. What if my commentary isn't enough? What if it's not covering enough? What if that actually makes it a viable option for people to just watch the show for free? Rooster Teeth would have to manually inspect these videos and block them accordingly. They wouldn't want to just take their ad revenue and that's that. They would actually need to block it, because that would mean people would find it as a viable option to see the show without paying for RT first, and it makes a lot of sense. This would require from Rooster Teeth a lot of resources, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, and quite honestly, I don't think they would be willing to do that, and I wouldn't even expect them to do something like that. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of manpower. And I don't assume that Rooster Teeth is that huge, nor would they want to pay staff specifically to look at reactions all day. Now, what is option number 2, and the one I find to be quite viable, would be to do edited reactions. Just like the J Maza mentioned on Twitter, we would be doing reactions, and then we would be editing them down into the segments where we're actually reacting to the big moments and all of that, and then just uploading them for people to watch. And that seems quite viable for Rooster Teeth, very helpful. But here's the thing, editing a video is not something as straightforward as completing it in 10 minutes time or in 15 minutes time. It takes time to edit, to find the right moments, to find the perfect spots, to do it in a timing that makes sense to the viewer. It takes time. It's not something that we can just do in a few minutes and call it a day. So it takes work from us. So what is it that as reactors we get in return? We get an audience, which is great, and it's what we've been getting so far because we can't monetize our reactions, and that's fair enough. But the flip side was that doing a full reaction takes a lot less time because we don't really need to edit it. We can't edit a reaction because a reaction is supposed to be a reaction, the way exactly we reacted to the show. So it doesn't make sense for us to edit it. Maybe we edit the intro and the outro, but that's pretty much it. It doesn't take me personally that much time. Maybe that might mean that I have questionable content, who knows? But the point I'm trying to make is that how are we further rewarded for our time? What do we get out of putting our time for making these edited videos? Would this be a case where Rooster Teeth would be claiming the ad revenue, despite the fact that we've put the energy into editing the videos? Personally, I don't think that's fair. Personally, I think we're kind of starting to fall into fair use territory. And that becomes a little bit iffy as well. How much is fair use? What does the law say in the US or in the UK or in different countries? It's all very different. And it's all pretty vague if you ask me. I haven't really searched that deeply into it because it hasn't really affected me in my life right now. Maybe somebody who knows this better than I could potentially shed some light, and that would be amazing. But honestly, I do feel that if we're putting in the extra work, something needs to come out of it for us, the reactors, and I think that makes sense. Now, option number 3, and I find this probably to be the least viable for the viewer themselves, for you guys who watch our reactions, is that we do a full reaction, but we don't include the episode in the video itself. You would have to essentially take the reaction, take the episode from RT first, so that would mean that you would actually have to be paying for the sub, and you would have to sync these things up together. So this way, RT will ensure that people are paying for RT first, and we ensure that we're doing a full reaction the way it was meant to be seen, which is also the other consideration with regards to the second option. But here's the problem. It's quite problematic for the audience, especially new audience to our channels, people who haven't experienced this before. It doesn't leave a very good impression when you have to tell your viewer that they have to do extra work for you. Your dedicated viewers would probably do it, but the majority, I don't feel, would want to do this for more than maybe 1 or 2 reactors. So if you have several reactors that you watch, how many are you going to sit down and try to sync up with? Even if we do helping things like setting up particular screenshots to guide you, it would still be quite problematic, and it doesn't really quite feel the same. Because one of the things about watching a reaction is to kind of vicariously watch the show through the reactor's eyes, try and experience the show the way they're experiencing, and that's the beauty of reactions, is that's how it feels. I've watched a few reactions, and I get it. I get why people like watching them. It's quite an interesting experience to see how other people feel about a show. It's kind of also how certain people had read the Song of Ice and Fire books, and then when they knew all of the things that happened, and they watched people watch their friends look at the show and how some people died, and that shocked them to their core. It's a crazy experience to see how your friends or your family or a complete stranger would react to something that you really enjoy. And I think that option number 3 really takes away from that experience, because you're not going to sync up perfectly. You're not going to be able to make it right, and you're going to lose from it. So I think that option number 3 is probably the biggest lose-lose for everybody. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the only entity that wins here is Rooster Teeth, and that's fair enough. It's their show. But if we as content creators, whom Rooster Teeth many times has stated that they support us and they believe believe in the power of our community, and they believe in the power of the fans that they have generated, then this really isn't a very viable solution. I don't think they as Rooster Teeth would want to just take this as their own personal win and get it over with. Some of you might disagree with that. You're probably going to say, oh, they're a company, that's all they care about, to make money, that's why they're doing this with genLock. That's not here nor there right now. Anyway, these are the options. There's one fourth one, which is they don't do anything. And I don't think they're going to do that, because already they're working on guidelines. And I don't think that they're lying about that. They don't have a reason to lie about that right now. But we'll have to wait and see. The weekend is almost upon us. Hopefully tomorrow is Friday. We're probably going to have some answers and hopefully some logical guidelines. So here's hoping, guys. So what do you guys think about these theories that I have in mind? Please leave a comment in the comments section below. We can definitely safely assume that anything that has been said right now about genLock is true, that it's going to be an RT first show. That's why they're working on specific guidelines for it, so there's no problem with the wording. At least that's what I'm getting so far out of it. You can disagree if you want to. That's going to do it with the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave the video a like and subscribe to my channel by mashing on that subscribe button, because it helps a lot. I'd like to thank my patrons, as always, for supporting me, and you can do the same by hitting up patreon.com/Akibana0. You'll get early access to all of my Rooster Teeth reactions. As always, I'm going to catch you next time.